Hey guys, it's your girl Jasmine Chanel here with another YouTube video. This one is tailored to all those people that were hitting me up when I was a flight attendant with questions if my job was hiring, what advice I have for them in their interview process. Hopefully this video covers everything you need to know. I want to share my experience because I know it could help someone else too. If you don't have experience, if you don't have any background in aviation, don't worry, don't be discouraged. This video is for you. When I was a flight attendant, I worked for a company called Omni Air International, where it was a private charter focused on military families and military soldiers. So I had the opportunity to go a number of places such as Tokyo, Japan, Ireland, Kuwait City, Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, just all over the world, places I never thought I would be able to travel at such a fun age. So if you want to see the world and you're just excited to explore like literally every day and you get paid to do it, this job is for you, and I think it's a life-changing experience. You don't have to do it forever. I did it for 4 years and I don't regret it. At the end I was very tired because, like I said, it was international travel, so I was literally going to an international destination every week. My family and my friends know me as disappearing. You know, I would leave the country and come back and live my normal life. So it gives you so much patience and understanding, and you get to really experience culture shock. There's a number of ways you can become a flight attendant. I did it with a private airline for the military, which I really adore just because I was able to go to all these international destinations. So let's jump into it. I didn't go to any academy or any type of school. A lot of people, or not a lot of people, but people that I met have gone to those, and those have been helpful in landing them employment opportunity, but I didn't do that. So my friend hit me up on a random and was like, do you want to apply to be a flight attendant? Of course, I never thought that it would actually happen, and the closer I got to it, the more it was like nerve-wracking, because once you start the application process, you don't want to back out. So it was extremely hard, but it was worth it. For me and my private airline, I think it was harder than others. When I talked to flight attendants who transitioned to Southwest or Alaska or Delta, even more commercial airlines, are their training process is a lot easier, a lot relaxed, even though it is hardcore. Private airlines, or at least my experiences, there were no occurrences. If you're a flight attendant, you already know that if you work for a commercial airline through your probationary time, you're allowed like occurrences, and then they let you go. However, when I was a flight attendant and my training probation was 1 year, and you couldn't be late. So if you're arriving to your interview late, just turn around. You're wasting time, because it will not be tolerated as a flight attendant. The interview process started out with formal flight attendants and people from HR and management talking about the position. They go over hourly wages, they go over destinations, requirements, what a day looks like, what to expect, some of the background issues that if you have, you might as well kind of leave now, kind of giving you a warning, because they do a thorough background check. And everything comes up as far as driving records, criminal records. They took my fingerprints by the end of my interview, so they don't waste any time, and they make sure that you're in good standing with the law, which makes sense because you got a lot of responsibility as a flight attendant. So after hearing the leadership speak on the job, they kind of want to make sure you know what the day is going to look like, so they're not wasting time doing your background check. And there is a drug test that you end up doing. You schedule an appointment there after you got the job. They kind of want to make sure they're not wasting any money, so they give you a clear understanding of what it may look like, how much to pay, and the benefits and all that jazz. And it sounds so exciting. It's like they're painting a dream, and then you start the process after hearing leadership and former flight attendants give you their feedback. Another nit breaker, so people were dropping like flies since the interview. People started hearing how long they could be out. The maximum for my company was 65 days. 65 days at a time that you could be traveling. For me, I did it one time. I opt out the other times just because I'm the type of person who wants to travel, and then go to my home. But other people, they stayed out for months at a time. The important part of the interview process was filling out the application. Okay, so a lot of people got sent home from the interview because they would make minor mistakes, either putting their first name on their last name or forgetting a gap in employment history. If you made any type of mistake on your application, well, before you turned it in at the interview, they sent you home. Like, it was that serious. So if you were late, don't show up. If you knew that your application had a number of mistakes, you were gonna get let go. It was just round after round of letting people go. That was very important to fill out the application. It was so much pressure because they told us like anything that might have a gap, it shows us that you can't pay attention. It shows us you're not able to follow procedures, and we're gonna have to let you go. Ouch. Okay, and then so we did our group interviews. I did my announcements. I filled out my application correct. So they posted last names on a board after our applications went under review. And if your name was on it, you know, you got to come back for a background check and your fingerprints. And if your name wasn't, you were let go. Luckily, my name was on it. So I went upstairs, I did my fingerprints. They went over the next steps. They did a lot of communication over emails about my passport, about more paperwork, about training, about upcoming flights and days of training. It was so much information. Make sure you have an email that you can get in tune with and you can get in contact with people every day. You don't want to miss anything. It takes a lot of organization and a lot of attentiveness to the job, because it could change at any moment. So make sure you have an email where when they get in contact, you don't miss it and you don't miss any forms, because they will let you go. There's a number of people who would love to travel the world and get paid for it. And if you're not willing to do that, and if you show them little mistakes that you're not able to do that, they don't have any problem letting you go. So be on top of it. If lateness is your problem, this job will get you, because Alaska and Delta, they give you occurrences. But for me, I don't know what occurrence was. There was no opportunity. So if you have a problem being late, you might want to reconsider. So what are the benefits for being a flight attendant? Not only do you get paid to travel, you get about, for me it was about $19 hourly, and then you got per diem, both domestic and international per diem. So every time you're away from your home base, like mine was SeaTac, you got paid for the hour that you're away. You got hotel and you got lodging. For training, they pay for your hotel, they pay for your flight. Training was awesome, but it was also the most stressful time of my life ever. There was a test every day. We had training Monday through Friday from about 8 to 4:30, and then once you got back from your hotel, you'd be studying all day. I highly recommend studying with group members of your training class. Helping others and having people help you can be a major difference in your studying. I know it helped me tremendously. Also, I recommend staying out of the drama. There will be drama, just like anywhere. It's not too far from high school. Stay out of it, because just like training, the program coordinators and trainers are always watching. You're gonna be in a cylinder for hours working with people, different employees all throughout the day. You'll never really work with the same person depending on what airline you work for. So it's very important that in training you can show them that you have all the capabilities that a flight attendant can portray once you get the job. It starts in training. For those of you who are wondering if you need to know how to swim to be a flight attendant, you don't. Even though I know how to swim, all you need to do for most airlines is be able to swim with a life jacket on, because policy and procedures, you're going to have your life jacket on anyways. So it's important that you are able to move in the water. You do have to do a little physical test to show that you can get in the water, swim with the life jacket, and then get yourself on a boat. That was all held at the Delta headquarters. It's where training was. They paid for hotel and lodging. I had a roommate the whole time. However, my roommates did switch out, always with the lady, due to people being sent home, not being able to pass the test, because there was a test every day of training. You had to get at least to 80% to pass, and you can only fail 2 tests. It was very stressful because people are dropping like flies and you have life going on. But I recommend being distant from your phone, being totally distant from your home life. You tell your friends you're you're studying, you have to leave and you have to focus, because there's no time to make mistakes or to get distracted. You are there to learn as much as you can about policies, procedures, about the aircrafts, customer service, about the company. It's so much information. It's not unbearable. People have done it, so don't feel discouraged, even though it can be hard, but I highly recommend studying with. But once you get done with your training, my training was a month long. I was just immersed in information. I recommend on the weekends getting out with some of your classmates, taking a break, letting your brain breathe. Don't overwhelm yourself. You definitely need a break. Mine was 4 weeks. It was paid. It was only $200 a week, which is nothing. The hotel provided breakfast, so we were responsible for our lunch and our dinner. You can make it work. In Atlanta, I was partying on the weekends, and then I would go to training. I maximized my time as I did as a flight attendant thereafter. You don't need a ton of experience. Customer service experience will benefit you. I highly recommend if you could reach out to someone and become friends with a flight attendant already. I feel that when you have a reference to put on your application, it goes into a special pod. So if you can use a reference, do that. Do the research on the airline, know the airline's mission statement, what they're about, so when it's time to talk about it at the interview, you stand out because you've done your research and you actually know something. When I was a flight attendant, I never had to worry about hotels. I never had to worry about transportation. There was always transportation set up for me to get to my hotel, and once I got off, I was off. I got to do whatever I want. So all these videos, me in Japan, going on hikes, going to Sensoji Temple, going to restaurants, going to Disneyland, going to Tokyo Disney Sea. These were all on my off times while I worked to go to my destination. Like, how cool is that? So what did it look like everyday life for me as a flight attendant? Be one with your email and one with your phone. When you're away, you have reserve time, which is if a flight comes in or if they need a flight attendant, someone calls off, you have to be able to pick up your phone and be at the airline in 2 hours. So you have to be able to live close to the airport. A lot of people have crash pads. Be able to relocate. That's one thing they tell you at the interview process, because where you're applying to might not be open for positions, but they need you to go to Baltimore, but you applied to Dallas. So you have to be able to relocate. A lot of people do crash pads where they rent out a small space, a bunk bed, even similar to a hostel, and they kind of like stay there while they live at home. So people do what they have to do. Keep your eyes open, be kind to people, because you might be living with them, and sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And if you need to relocate, then that's what you'll have to do. Everyday life, I was attentive to my phone, attentive to my email, staying up to date with new policies, new procedures, being on time all the time, being professional, making sure I looked and my appearance was good, getting the rest that you need. Know that sometimes you're tired and you just are tired. They tell you in the beginning, sleep when you're tired and eat when you're hungry, and it's so true, because you don't know what the day is going to be like. There might be a delay and you're sitting on the plane for a mechanical issue for hours, and you want to make sure that you're prepared. So have fun, but get your rest, because you don't want to be fatigued in an important situation. I highly recommend it. I hope all this has helped you. So much information on kind of what to expect on an interview process, what it looks like every day for me. Pretty much wake up in the morning, go to the airport, check in 2 hours before, you get the flight ready. Or actually, for mine, you weren't getting paid until the wheels took off, which was unfortunate because you had to be at the airport 2 hours before departure. I know Alaska Airlines is like an hour and a half before the flight you have to be at the airport, so everywhere's a little different. But everyday life for me, woke up early, got to the airport, I checked in with my crew right outside the aircraft. We boarded the plane together, we prepared the plane, did a safety security check, make sure everything was good. We had a meeting with the pilot, let us know what the flight time was going to be, any emergency procedures that the pilot suggests, the way he kind of does things. We call that a flight attendant briefing. We board the plane, get passengers on, take off, deplane, get on the taxi or shuttle, go to our hotel, and time was mine, and I was still getting my per diem. And then that's where the real fun. Don't think you need a lot of experience. Customer service experience is needed. A clear background check. You have to be able to take a drug test. Some airlines have a no nicotine process. Mine was strictly for narcotics and marijuana, so you do have to do a drug screening, background check, pass that month-long training, pass those tests, and then you finally get your wing. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I know people were always reaching out to me, so I wanted to put a video out and give you some tips if you want to become a flight attendant, not sure what to expect. This video is for you, and I was excited to do that. I should have did this a long time ago. The part, be on time, steady, 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 make relationships, be professional at all times. Even when you're off, don't let the stories you do linger on, because they will be talked about on the plane and you never know who's listening. It doesn't stop at training. When you get your wings, things can follow you. Be professional, be professional. Like, it's so important, and it's so easy to lose sight when you get to your layovers to like active. So that's that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I should have did this video a long time ago, because I know people always were curious when I was traveling the world, like every day, like, how did you become, are they hiring now? Because I made it look so cool, and it is so cool. And I just recommend it to anyone. Like, subscribe. It's your girl Jasmine Chanel. How to become a flight attendant with no experience, and some tips to keep you going along the way. Don't get discouraged, and be great and explore the world.